back here at the Davenport University Coaches Show. I think we might have had some technical difficulties in that last segment, so we apologize if Coach Niemiec got cut off and we didn't get to hear the whole interview with her. But I think we're back here live and joined now by D'Angelo Bellamy, a junior defensive back from Oakland, California area. First question I just have for you, D'Angelo, what was football like growing up in the Bay Area?
Man, in the Bay, man, it was nothing but talent.
Yeah.
There's talent everywhere, but it's hard-nosed football. Like, everybody playing hard. Because we playing people from Richmond, you playing people from Oakland, you playing people from San Francisco, like the Bombers.
Yeah.
So I'm playing a lot of talent.
You think like a guy like Marshawn Lynch, is that kind of like a guy from that area? Is that kind of somebody that, everyone?
He's from North Oakland, that's where I'm from. I grew up watching his little brother play.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
But that's kind of like the epitome of what you would say like a
talent.
Oakland guy would be, kind of that hard-nosed, gritty kind of. Yeah.
You know, we had flashy dudes, but most of our good players, they really didn't talk a lot. Like, if you was good, you ain't really talk too much. You let your game do the playing.
Right.
And then some dudes, you know, they gonna talk, especially from the Bay. Everybody feel like they that one.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So who were some of the influences that you had in your life that, you know, kind of pushed you to become the player that you are today?
I always give thanks to my brothers. You know, they was, I always tell everybody they was 10 times better than me.
Okay.
But, you know, like their environment, you know, kind of consumed them young, and they didn't really get a chance to, you know, put their talents on the platform. And then when it comes to professional level, I always say these two people, Marshawn Lynch, because he was like the first person I seen from my city to really elevate himself and become like a brand, a well-known brand. Mm-hmm. And then Deron Bland, because I recently went to high school with him. You know, he was 2 grades older than me. Okay. And he break an NFL record. So, man, just seeing his growth and where he started from Sac State to Fresno State, it's just like, it's nothing but like, it inspired me to keep going.
Yeah, you started off from Modesto Junior College. You had 50 tackles there in your first year. What was your experience like that in college football for the first time?
Sure, it was my first time playing DB. Okay. So I had just transitioned to DB. I ain't really understand the position how I do now. Right. So, man, it was a wake-up call.
And then you go on to UTEP, Texas El Paso, and you spend, I believe 2 years there. If that's
it was just a year.
Just 1 year there? Okay, 1 year. You know what, when your decision to go to that school, and how heavily, I guess, were you asked to come there from Modesto?
Well, I had a couple other offers, like in Modesto. I had Missouri State, Arizona State, and then like a lot of interest. Okay. And I chose UTEP because of the coaching staff. I really like Coach Demo, rest in peace. He had recently just passed, but like he was like a head coach that was for the team, you know, similar to Sparky. Okay. So he really caught my interest, honestly.
You then come here to Davenport. So had you ever heard of Davenport before? And like what kind of led to your decision to come join us in the Panthers?
Well, I had took 2 years off from football, and being able to like play football again was something I wanted. You know, just taking 2 years off, I started hitting up every coach I could possibly reach on Twitter. And, you know, Coach Mack ended up tapping back in with me. And then I told him my story and what happened. And, you know, he wanted to take a chance on me. And I was really just blessed to have an opportunity to play football again.
Yeah. How's it been so far with the team? I know, obviously, coming to a new program, it can be some growing pains. But how welcoming were the guys? And what are some of the guys on the team that you've kind of bonded with here early on?
Man, I met a lot of guys here. Everybody here, they welcome me. Yeah. They had backgrounds, just talking, you know, just man to man. And just, honestly, a lot of the teammates here, they wanted me to do good. They wanted me to learn the playbook. Even though we're competing for a spot, they were still teaching me, you know. Sure. I feel like there was love here. Good. So they welcome me.
This year you have 27 tackles, but last 3 games you have 25. So how has your role evolved, and now it seems like you're kind of getting a little bit more in the game plan, especially on defense?
Oh, yeah, I was a special team guy at first. I still didn't know the playbook as much as I do now, so I had to be patient, you know, play my role, allow my teammates to do what they needed to do on the field while I wasn't there. So, you know, I just played my role, honestly, kept my head down, and it was working.
For those of us that haven't seen you play, I have, of course, but the viewers that maybe haven't, how would you describe your intensity and your style of football?
My style of football is calm, collected, but aggressive. You know, I ain't going to talk too much. I might talk to my teammates. I might get a little excited, but I ain't going to talk to my opponents. But I'm going to come downhill and bang them.
Hey, thanks for joining us here on the Coaches Show. Again, you guys have a big game here with Wayne State in Detroit on Saturday, and good luck to you, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, man. All thanks to God.
All right, thanks, D'Angelo. We appreciate it. And we'll be back with our final segment of the Coaches Show We'll have Sparky McEwen back to talk about the upcoming contest on Saturday at Wayne State. Stay with us. Here to wrap things up at the Davenport Coaches Show, back with Sparky McEwen, head coach of the Panthers. And, Coach, you guys have a big game this Saturday. You're going to head to the Motor City and take on Wayne State at 1 o'clock from Tom Adams Field. Kind of what are your impressions on the Warriors as you head into that contest?
You know, it's a team right now that, you know, they're young.
Yeah.
You know, Coach has overhauled that roster, and obviously it's a coaching staff that knows talent, and they've gone out and they've got pieces. You know, so Findlay right now in the GMAC is tied for first, and I think the final score was 7-3.
Yes.
You know, so defensively, you know, they can, you know, they're not going to surprise you with anything because they're going to get after you. And so that's the expectation. They got some speed. They got some talent. They got some strength. I mean, you know, they got good football players. They got some transfers that they brought in that is, you know, they're coming along nicely. And on offense, you can tell that they're just starting to gel a little more, you know, so I've been a part of this thing for a long time, and it's just going to be a matter of time before they break out, you know, and our football team understands this. But, you know, our football team also understands that we've lost 2 in a row, and that's not acceptable at Davenport University, and, you know, we've built a culture of winning, and, you know, right now this is not sitting well with us where we're at, and practices are very uneasy, and, you know, I tell people all the time, if you show me a guy that accepts losing, I'll show you a loser, you know, and it's unacceptable, and I know we're playing good opponents, but we're a good opponent as well, you know, so the expectation is to close, and not being able to close games, you know, at this point, you know, is very disappointing, you know, so our football team knows that, you know, we've got to step up. We got to take the next step. And I know we've got some guys in places that, you know, they're maturing. Well, they got to speed that process up because right now winning is the thing that we talk about around there, and we've worked our butts off. Our past players, our alumni have worked their tails off to put us in position to feel this way. You know, so we got to finish up with a good week of work, and our focus is on the fundamentals, playing hard, our offense and defense, protecting our passer, working on our fits on defense, and just, you know, being a better football team.
Yeah. Wayne State, I looked it up this morning. They have the toughest strength of schedule in Division II this year, Coach. Their opponents are 23-5. So you had talked about you're not taking anybody lightly, but they're playing the toughest schedule in the country.
They are, and like I told you, you can watch film and you can tell just based on the teams they're playing, you know, that they got talent over there. Don't get it twisted now. These guys, you know, they're going to come out, they're going to hit you in the mouth, and they've got some weapons on the other side of the ball, and, you know, it just takes that quarterback, you know, just, you know, give him a seam. He'll take it the distance. They got receivers that can run. Everybody on their defense can play football, from their defensive line, their linebackers to their back end. You know, this is the team that, you know, like I said, once they get it going, they could be a opponent, you know, that can beat you.
Yeah. Well, and Champ Edwards, a guy last year, a true dual-threat quarterback. He threw for over 100 against us, ran for, I think, 93 in that game. You know, that's something like this year, I think.
On a shortened game.
Sure, and these other teams that have had some success against us, you know, offensively have had that dual-threat quarterback. So how do you game plan for somebody that can do both?
Well, we just did a good job against the guy we just played against. Yeah. You know, he was a dual threat, and we knew that, you know, dual threat quarterbacks have been the ones that would give us a little more problems than others. And, you know, I felt like the defensive staff did a really good job, you know, with a game plan that our players could still play freely. And those guys did. They played freely, and they did some good things to to the Huskies, that made this a good game. I never lost a football game when we scored more touchdowns than our opponent. We scored more touchdowns than the Huskies, and we still lost that game.
Right.
So don't mean to bring that up, but you can see it's still with me a little bit.
Sure.
I just hate to lose.
Yeah.
But we do know how to go out and defend guys that have that dual threat ability.
That'll wrap it up here for this edition of the Davenport Coaches Show. Once again, Wayne State on Saturday, 1 o'clock in downtown Detroit. You can go to dupanthers.com. Watch us on Flow College. There's a small fee to view those games. There's also going to be Rick Berkey and Bill Rohn. We'll also have a free audio broadcast on YouTube. And then also there's live stats on our website. So for Sparky McEwen, D'Angelo Bellamy, Jessica Niemiec, for everybody else involved, this is Ryan Thompson. Have a good night, and go Panthers.